Hey everyone! Welcome to our next Outfit Studio tutorial session, which once again isn't actually about Outfit Studio. Instead, we're going to cover the basics of using SSEEdit. Why? Because we need this tool to create plugins for adding the next two NIFs that we've made into the game. You can also use the Skyrim Creation Kit to do this, but I personally find SSEEdit much easier to use, and so that's what I will be showing you in these tutorials. Here's what we're going to talk about today. I will be assuming that you are totally new to SSEEdit, so I will be going slow and explaining in detail. If that's not what you are looking for, then this video may not be for you. We're going to be looking at some example records in the demo mod that I created as a companion to this tutorial series. It's called Simply for Practice, and you can find it on the Nexus. Download, install, and activate as you would any other mod, and the link is in the description. You are welcome to look at other example records if you don't wish to install the demo mod. SSEEdit is, according to the mod page, quote, an advanced graphical module viewer/editor and conflict detector. That basically just means it's a program that will translate a plugin file, which is an ESP, ESL, or ESM, into an organized document on the screen that you can actually read and understand as a human being and make changes to it. It's an awesome tool. It was created by the very talented ElminsterAU. You may have heard of xEdit, and perhaps you're wondering what the difference is. xEdit is a generic name for the tool itself. This software tool has been created to work with various Bethesda games, including Skyrim, both the original and Special Edition, Fallout 3, 4, New Vegas, and 76, and Enderal. Each of those games requires its own specific version of the xEdit tool, and each one has its own specific name, such as Test5Edit, FO3Edit, FNVEdit, and so on. For Skyrim Special Edition, we use the version called SSEEdit, and for the original LE Skyrim, we use the version called Test5Edit. I will be referring to SSEEdit in this video because I only work in Skyrim Special Edition. If you are still working in old LE Skyrim, just replace Test5Edit in your head whenever I say SSEEdit. And just be sure that you install and use the one that matches the game you are playing. Whichever version of xEdit you use, it is a powerful piece of software that lets you see the plugin files, compare them between different mods, and make all kinds of changes to them. By editing plugin files or making new ones, we can change virtually anything about any aspect of the game. It is an indispensable tool for outfit work because you'll need to create patches or new plugins when you want to change or add outfits and accessories to the game. As an aside, you can do a lot more than outfit work in SSEEdit. It's great for managing and fixing mod conflicts. And you can run all kinds of scripts within the tool to quickly make sweeping changes instead of doing records one at a time. For example, there are scripts to convert all armor items to cloth, remove helmets, and make things craftable or temperable. If you'd like to explore this further, just search for SSEEdit script on the Nexus and lots of things will pop up. To wrap up this section, I want to call your attention to the Tome of xEdit. This is a comprehensive overview and guide that explains lots of things about using the tool. I highly recommend that you check out this guide and see the link that I've placed in the description. You can install and use SSEEdit through either Mod Organizer or Vortex. I'm not going to show you the installation in this video because Michael over at Gamer Poets has already done this way better than I can. Please refer to his video linked in the description if you need to get SSEEdit installed and set up correctly. He shows the steps required for both MO2 and Vortex, and the video is quick and easy to follow. Don't worry that it's currently archived on his channel. The steps are still the same as of the date that I'm making this recording. The main difference is that if you are installing for Skyrim Special Edition, you will use SSEEdit instead whenever the video refers to TES5Edit. Once you have SSEEdit installed, go ahead and open it up. A window should pop up asking you to select which modules you want to load. You can tick these on and off here in the little boxes, or you can right-click and select all, none, or invert the selection. I usually just load all my currently active mods, which is everything on this list. It takes a bit longer, but it's the only sure way to see how your mods are interacting with each other. Click OK once you've made your selections. You will see things happening as your mods are loading. You may get another pop-up window asking you which mod groups that you want to activate. You can just ignore this. Mod groups are great for conflict resolution, but that is way beyond the scope of this video, so just click OK here if you get this box. You will know when it's finished loading everything because there will be a message saying Background Loader Finished at the bottom of the right-hand pane. Your screen will probably be much nicer looking than mine, and sorry about that, you can just ignore my mess. This is all here because of the profile that I'm using for these demos. Okay, so here we are in SSEEdit. The first thing that you might notice is that your version doesn't look like my version. I'm not sure what the default settings are these days, but I have mine set to dark mode. To change the mode, click on the 3 horizontal lines up in the left-hand corner and select Options. You can change various things in here, although I suggest leaving everything in here alone unless you know what you're doing. To change how the screen looks, click on the UI Theme tab. You can select System, Light, or Dark, and each one of those has drop-downs with additional options. A preview is shown in the middle area of the box. Just choose whichever one you like best, and then hit OK, or hit Cancel if you want to keep the current setting. Over here in the left-hand pane, you have a listing of all the plugins that are loaded in. They are listed in the same order as your plugin load order, which in MO2 is the right-hand pane. The list is top-down by default, meaning that it goes from the lowest number to the highest number. But you can reverse that by clicking the little arrow next to Form ID. And now the order goes from highest number at the top to lowest number at the bottom. Scroll all the way down and you can find the Skyrim ESM, which is probably second from the bottom on your list. Click on the little plus sign on the left to open up the plugin. This is a toggle, so click it again to close. Click once more to open it back up. Note that since we reversed the order of the plugins to start with the highest number at the top, the record types in the plugin are also listed in reverse alphabetical order. That really bugs me, so I'm going to switch my order back to the default by clicking on the arrow next to Form ID again. And now we have to scroll back up to find the Skyrim ESM, which should be the very first plugin in your load order, and it is now back at the top of the list. All the lines underneath the Skyrim ESM are record types, and if you scroll down, you can see there are a lot. We don't have to worry about most of these for outfits, but let's open one up to see what's inside. Click on the little plus sign next to Ingestible to open that one up. Now we're getting somewhere. This is a list of all the items that your character can eat or drink in Skyrim. As per the column headings in SSEEdit, the number on the left is the form ID, the name in the middle is the editor ID, and the name on the right is the actual name of the item that's shown in the game. You'll see that the editor ID is sometimes the same as the in-game name, but not always. Click on the first item on the list, which is Firebrand Wine for me. Now you will see information about this item listed in the right-hand pane. Ignore the various different colors in here for now. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Let's talk about this right-hand pane. Up top, there are some options for filtering the record. And to the far right is the Legend button, which again, we'll cover in a bit. In the middle, the largest and most important part of this pane is all the information about the object. And at the bottom, there are different tabs. We are currently on the View tab, which is the one you will use most often. The Referenced By tab shows you all the other records and all the plugins you have loaded that point back to this item. The Messages tab is what we saw when we first opened SSEEdit. Information contains lots of information about SSEEdit and how things work. Next, there are 3 Spreadsheet tabs, which I have never used, so I'm not going to discuss. And the last tab, called What's New, highlights the SSEEdit version changes. All right, click back on the View tab. The columns here show all the plugins that contain this item. For my Firebrand Wine, I have 7 plugins that include this record. The plugin that wins is the one shown all the way to the right when I scroll over. It's important to note that each plugin listed here is separate. They do not mix or combine with each other in any way. So whatever is shown in the very last column here is what will be applied to this item. And anything not included in this column will not be applied. More on that in a bit. For now, let's just focus on the first 2 columns, the header column and the Skyrim.esm. Starting at the top, the first section is the record header. This contains administrative stuff that you can ignore for this tutorial. Next, we've got the editor ID and some numbers that describe object bounds, and those are also things that you can ignore for this tutorial. But the next few sections are important because you'll need to edit these for your outfits. We've got the item's in-game name, keywords, an optional description line, which seems to be rarely used, and the path to the NIF file that this item uses. You probably will not have this red section that you see on my screen called Destructible, which is there because of a specific mod that I have, but you should see the 2 sound lines, weight, and several sections related to the effects that this item will have on your character when they consume it. The 2 main things I want you to note about this right-hand pane are as follows. First of all the properties for an item are listed in sections like this, and the section and line headings are listed in the first column of this right-hand pane. Second, these lines are where you will change the properties for an item. Every object in Skyrim has a record that will be similar to this. There will be sections and line listings that are specific to the item's type. I would suggest spending some time exploring the records in the Skyrim ESM. This will help you get a greater understanding of how the plugins work. Don't worry, you can't break anything as long as you don't save. And SSEEdit has a great safeguard already built in. If you try to change something, either on purpose or by accident, you should see this box pop up. While you are exploring, just click on the button that says, let me think about it some more. And that will prevent you from making any changes that you did not intend. When you're ready to close out of SSEEdit, simply click the X in the upper right-hand corner. If you made changes to any plugins, you get one last chance to confirm or deny those changes. Upon closing SSEEdit, a little window will pop up that says, Save Changed Files. If you did not mean to change anything, Then just untick all the boxes shown in that window and click OK. If you have mods with plugin files installed, then you will most likely see some different colored text throughout the records here in SSEEdit. The colors are how SSEEdit shows you which mods are conflicting with each other. Please note that colors do not mean good or bad. Colors are simply informing you about which mods are winning and which mods are losing and which mods do not have any conflicts at all. On the View tab, click on the Legend button in the upper right-hand corner. This explains what every color means. They are all important, but I want to highlight a few in particular. White text typically means that there is only one record for the item across all the plugins that are loaded, so it does not conflict with anything else because no other plugins contain that record. Green text shows that something is overriding the original, but it's not really a conflict since there is only one change that's being made across all the plugins. Purple text shows the original or master record when some other plugin or plugins are overriding it. Orange and red text are especially important because they indicate that multiple plugins are trying to make different changes to the record. Whichever values are winning between the plugins will be shown in orange, and whichever values are losing will be shown in red. Recall what I said earlier. The values in the record cannot be mixed or combined between plugins. Only one plugin, whichever one loads last, which is the one shown on the far right, will win. And so only the values that are included in that plugin are what will be applied to the item in the game. For example, look at the spiced beef here in the ingestible list. The plugin listed to the far right, which is the unofficial Skyrim survival patch, controls how this item will appear in the game, and it changes some fields compared to the original version in the Skyrim ESM. The original values are shown in purple because the Skyrim ESM is the master and is being overwritten. Things shown in white or gray are the same across the plugins, so we don't have to worry about those. Here in green, we can see that the Survival Mode plugin from Anniversary Edition adds an effect that was not there in original Skyrim. That is shown in green because it's different from the original, but it is not conflicting with anything else. But for the first effect of this food, we do have some conflicts across the plugins. Skyrim ESM is the master, so those values are all shown in purple. Then the Skyrim update changes the value to restore stamina instead of health, a change which is carried through to the Survival Mode plugin. But then, the original unofficial SSE patch changes it back to the original Skyrim value. And then this is ultimately overwritten by the unofficial Skyrim survival patch, which is the winning plugin here. And so Restore Stamina is the effect that this food will have in the game. The final value is shown in orange because in the list of conflicting plugins, this value is the winner. And this other value is red because in the list of conflicting plugins, this value is the loser. It's important to have some idea of what's going on here with plugin conflicts because you may need to deal with these if you are working with vanilla outfits or other items that are affected by multiple plugins at the same time. We covered the plugin records for outfits a little bit in video number 13 about partitions, but I'm guessing a lot of you may have glazed over during that episode, which was okay at the time, but now we really have to dig into this in detail. If you are going to add something new to Skyrim, or if you want to make any changes to the item's in-game properties, then there is just no avoiding the plugin records. outfits and accessories must have two types of plugin records at a minimum: the armor and the armor add-on records. Many of them will also have constructible records, container records, and texture sets. There may be other types too, depending on what is going on with a particular outfit, but these are the 5 we will focus on. Let's have a look at the demo mod in SSEEdit. If you don't have it installed or activated, that's fine. Just use the Skyrim ESM to look at similar records. Expand the plugin so that you can see the record categories included in it. Here in the Simply for Practice mod, we have armor add-on records, armor records, containers, and texture sets. Expand the armor add-on category. And here you can see all the items that are added to the game by this mod. Click on the first one, the Belt AA record. By convention, armor add-on records usually end with AA in their editor ID. The Armor Add-on section is the place where you choose the partition priority slots and their priority number. It's where you indicate if the item should wait slide or not. It's where you include the path to the wearable NIF file. And it's where you list which races can wear the item. Now expand the Armor category and click on the first one for the belt. In the Armor record, we put the name that the item should have in the game. We provide the file path to the ground model NIF. We indicate the Equip slot this item will use. We list appropriate keywords. We link to the corresponding Armor add-on record. And we assign the monetary value, weight, and armor rating that the item will have in the game. Click through several other records, such as the demo boots and the demo top, to see how those are set up. And note how the 2 types of records, the armor record and the armor add-on record, work together in tandem to tell the game everything it needs to know about the item for it to work properly in Skyrim. Next, expand the Container category and note that there are 2 containers included in this mod. Click on either one and have a look at how the record is set up. The container has a name, a NIF, and a listing of all the items that get loaded inside of it. Lastly, expand the Texture Set category and click on either of the 2 records included there. As explained in video number 18 about deleting mesh parts, texture sets allow you to have just one NIF that can be reused for different outfits by applying different texture files. Here you can see the path to the new DDS files for the diffuse texture, which is the image you see, and the normal map, which controls the bumpiness, roughness, and shine. If you click on the Outfit 2 Armor record, you can see the texture sets being applied to the ground model. And if you click on the Outfit 2 Armor add-on record, you can see the texture sets applied to the wearable NIF. The other type of record which is common for outfits is the constructible category. This controls the recipe and crafting details so that the item can be made in the game. None of the items in the demo mod can be crafted, so there are no constructible records. Though we will talk more about this type of record in later videos. Plugins come in different types, most often ESMs like the base game, and ESPs like most mods. You've probably also heard about ESL flagged ESPs, since adding this flag allows you to increase your plugin count beyond the hard cap of 255, or, to be exact, beyond the 250 mod plugins that you can have on top of the official game content. If you want to know more about this and the different plugin types, I recommend this article on AFK mods, and I will include the link in the description. When you want to change something about an item that already exists in the game, you can make a plugin patch. Patches for outfits or accessories can almost always be created as ESL flagged ESPs so that they won't count against the standard plugin limit. To make a patch, you start by finding the record you want to change, right-clicking on it, and selecting Copy as Override into. This will lead to a series of dialog boxes that ultimately ends with creation of a new plugin file that contains your changes. We aren't going to do this together right now because it will be the focus of our next video. So we've just discussed how a plugin patch is used when you want to make changes to an existing item in the game. That if you want to add a brand new item, then you'll have to make new, unique records for that item in either a new or existing plugin. The easiest way to do this is to choose an existing item that is similar to what you want to add, and then copy that to a new plugin as a template. For example, let's say I have a new set of gauntlets that I want to add. I could use the records for Skyrim's Iron Gauntlets as templates. And remember that you need both an armor and armor add-on record at a minimum. To make a new plugin, when you right-click on the record you want to use as a template, choose Copy as New Record into. The dialog boxes will prompt you to give the item a new editor ID and then select where you want to add the new record. I make all of my new plugins as straight-up ESPs first. They can always be changed later to add the ESL flag. I have found this to be the safest approach, but you are welcome to use whatever approach makes you most comfortable. After selecting the plugin type, you'll be prompted to give your new plugin a name, and then it will show up at the bottom of your load order as a new file. You can copy additional records over by right-clicking, selecting Copy as New Record into, and then choosing your new plugin name as the location. As with the patch, we are not going to do this for real right now, but we will do it together in an upcoming video. If you play around with this in the meantime, please be aware that any plugins you create will either be located in the Overwrite folder if you use MO2, or directly in the Skyrim data folder if you use Vortex. I hope this introduction to SSEEdit was not too confusing, and I hope you were not too aggravated that I did not show exactly how to make a patch or new plugin in this video. Those need some dedicated time, so we will be doing them in upcoming videos to better focus our attention on the steps. If you can't wait to try it, then the main points to remember are that patches will start off by using Copy as Override into, while new standalone plugins will start off with Copy as New Record into. SSEEdit is a great tool for editing and making plugin files. But I should also note again that you can use the Creation Kit if you prefer. For me personally, I find that SSEEdit is much easier to use, and so that's what I will be showing in these tutorials. Don't be afraid of it, and don't be afraid to open it up and poke around to see how plugin records are set up. As I said before, you can't break anything as long as you don't save. Next time, we'll make a plugin patch together so you can really see how it all works. Thanks for watching this intro to SSEEdit, and I'll see you again soon for another adventure. Bye!